Let's see. Okay. Okay. Well, looks like everything's working. Okay. Okay, cool. Yep. Looks like everything's working. So, hello everyone. I know it's been like a while since I have done anything really streaming wise, but this is something I've wanted to do for a while, and I'm just now getting a little bit of time to do it and have the knowledge to do it as well. So what this will be at the end of it should be a series of different tutorials, if you will, that just kind of go over different things. Things like Blender and Creation Kit, textures, materials, collision, all that kind of stuff. Everything that I do to make my mods, that's what we're going to be doing. If y'all have like no idea what I'm talking about, let me show y'all real quick. So, all of this, most of my stuff is spaceships. This is going to be for Starfield, but some of what we're going to be covering should translate over to other Bethesda titles. I'm not entirely sure if it'll work. I've only ever modded Starfield, so do keep that in mind for anyone that's interested. And we're going to look at static objects for now. That's all we're going to do. So a few things that you will need before we get too far into this is you will need Blender, and you're going to need Blender. I think it's, what is this, version 3.7? 3.5, something like that. I forget what version this is. It used to tell me, and now it is not for some reason. Properties. 3.6. That's what it is. You'll need version 3.6, and then you will also need the Starfield NIF converter thingy, the NIF export tool for Blender. I'm not going to show you all how to install it because I do not remember, but you will need that. So you'll need Blender, you'll need that plugin for Blender, and you can figure out how to do all that off this video. Okay, that's not the point of this video. It's not to get you necessarily set up. There's plenty of stuff. You can go to the Starfield modding Discord and find all that stuff. And if you look it up, there's a whole Discord for that if you're interested. So you'll need that, Blender and the plugin. You'll need paint.net, possibly. I haven't actually found that just yet, but that's kind of irrelevant at this point in the tutorials and all that, so don't worry about that too much. But that's for textures and whatnot, so you'll possibly need that. You'll need either 3ds Max, that's what I use, that's what I'm going to be showing, or you will need there's another plugin for Blender that will let you create collision. That's why we use 3ds. It's a collision thing, otherwise you walk through your object. It's really weird. So yeah, make sure you have one of those things, and again, I'm not going to go over the Blender part for the collision. I use 3ds for that. And then after that, you will need the Starfield Creation Kit. That's how we take all of our objects, all of our items, and get them actually into the game. Okay, and this is all for PC. We're not covering Xbox. We're not covering how to mod for Xbox and upload to Bethesda.net. We're not doing any of that. I don't know how to do that, so I'm sorry. It is what it is. I'm not gonna worry about that. I'm just not gonna do it. So yeah. So for this first one, we're just going to be going over Blender. I don't know how far we're going to get, but I'm going to take y'all through the entire process, or at least I'm going to try to. I don't know how successful I'll be. But the very first thing that you're going to need, and y'all already kind of saw it, you're going to need a 3D model of some sort, unless you want to try to make this from scratch, but obviously you're here for a reason. You probably don't know how to do this. And it is a whole lot easier to just find a model online. This is the website that I like to use, sketchfab.com. You can find a whole lot of stuff. Just make sure that you can download. See, download 3D model. Make sure you can download it. Okay? Like, don't try to use something you can't download. Make sure you can download whatever model it is that you're trying to use. Make sure you're allowed to use it as well. You can find stuff a few different places. This is one of them. Like I said, this is my main website, Sketchfab. I have found some stuff on DeviantArt. Typically, you have to either ask, or there's a download area on that website sometimes where you can download the models and whatnot. You can also ask and just, hey, you care if I use your stuff? Most people that make fan-made stuff, they're very kind. They don't care. There are some that are not so kind, so be aware of that. So yeah, you're going to need to find a model. And sometimes they come with textures, sometimes they don't. It just depends. This one did, but we're not going to use them because I don't like them. I don't like all of this. It doesn't look that great, I don't think. And so we're not going to worry about that. Anyways, once you have your object downloaded on your computer, wherever you want to download it, normally it downloads as like a zip file. So make sure that you have it saved somewhere. You're going to need to unpack it with 7-zip extractor or with WinRAR. So make sure that you have make sure that you have those things. And then once you do that, then you can actually start. Hang on, let me copy this link here. I'm gonna share this to my Discord real quick, just in case someone wants to join and actually watch the. Just in case someone wants to watch the stream. So far, I have no viewers. That's okay. That's fine. Okay, so once you have your object or your model, you open up Blender, and what you're going to see, once it loads, hang on, is this. Okay. Left click, that'll get rid of that window, and then you can actually click on these different objects. This is what it pre-renders and pre-makes. So you got your camera, got a cube, and you have this light source. So what you want to do is you can either click on all of them by holding shift and then you just click, or you can come over here. This is what I normally do in this area on the right, and then you click on collection, go down to your light, click everything, and then just hit delete on your keyboard, and now you have an empty scene. There's nothing in here. So what we're going to do, go to File, Import, and then you want to find whatever type of 3D model you have. And I've got a few extra ones in here. Like for example, I've got this SketchUp thing because I needed it for one of the models. But most of the time they're either in object, that's wavefont.obj, or they're in .fbx. Sometimes STL as well. I've seen that as well. But normally it's the two most common is object and FBX. Okay? So what I'm wanting, my thing's an object. So we're going to open this up. And then over here, I'm going to go to my main drive where I have all of my stuff. And then I want mods. Starfield. Mod projects. I've got all my stuff organized. I would recommend you do this. See, I've got a lot of stuff on the back burner that I've wanted to do for a while. Oh, here it is. Outrider, go there. This. Okay. So here's all of the files that came with that model that I just showed y'all. Okay, so we just shift click. That gets everything, and then you just import. And voila. This model is really big, and the view area is not big enough. You can change that. I forget how to do it. But for this, I don't need to change that or modify this. I believe it's somewhere in the settings. Edit. Oh, here we go. Preferences, maybe. Viewports. I don't know. I forget where this thing is. It's fine, though. Anyways, notice I've got all my models over here. Model 0 through Model 11. That's just what the original author named this. If you select everything and then you hit S, as in Stegosaurus. I don't know. S is in skydive. That's better. On your keyboard, you can scale it up or down. And I just scaled it down. And then you use your mouse wheel to zoom in and out. And this thing is still really big. So we're going to scale it down even more. There we go. See, our model is now nice and scaled. And now over here, and we have all this different stuff here. This is your object properties, and that's what we want. Notice we have everything highlighted. And then you can come down here and you've got rotation, scale, location, whatever, right? Well, I know for this object, and I know this because I've already done this once. I want to hit, I think it's Alt and then -90 down here on the Z for the rotation, and then I click inside this window, and voila. That'll rotate this thing on the Z-axis. You want this thing to be oriented in such a way that it's facing the same direction as everything else in Starfield, in the Starfield game. We're working on a spaceship right now, so it's got to be facing the right way. You can modify that in Creation Kit, but I prefer to do it in Blender. So, what you can do is you can actually, if you have the Starfield import thingy and export, you can actually import a Starfield NIF. And so that's what I'm going to do. And then we find it here. And it saves a lot of times. It'll save your recent folders and whatnot. That's how I got here so quick. Okay, so mod projects. I have stuff saved. I've got some vanilla assets and I've customized them a little bit. And I'm going to get this guy. Import. There he is. And see how he's facing that way? And then if I scroll out, here's the back of the ship. So I know that this is oriented in the right way. And then we don't want this guy anymore, at least not right now. So what we can do is we drop this little arrow down, drop this arrow down, and then we can just click and we can hold control and click on each object, or we can click on the top thing, which is that's Starfield Mail Custom, and then hit shift and select all of that and then just delete, because we don't want them in there right now. So we have our object in here now, and like I said, you can scale this however you want. What you can actually do over here is it view or is it tool? Hang on. View. Item. There we go. Okay, so once again, we're going to come up here. We're going to select everything. Just you click and then hold Shift. Click again. That selects everything. And we see our dimensions. This is in meters. So we've got 75 meters on the x-axis, 10 on the y, and then 89 on the z. So what I like to do is kind of look up for a ship this size since it's so small. I like to look up what the actual dimensions are and then scale it accordingly. Now, I've already done that, and this was kind of problematic earlier today. I looked at it for the first time and I was like, ew, that's no good. So I've actually worked on it a little bit, because if I zoom in, you see there's all these walls on the inside of this thing. Like they're all over the place, and we don't want or need that, because that's going to get in the way when we go to make our custom interior. So it also is going to get in the way even if you don't do a custom interior and you just make like a shell and then you put habs on the inside. It still does not work very well, because now you're going to be walking literally through walls, and that's just not going to look good. So I'm going to close this out. I'm not going to save it because I already have this one. Give it a sec. There we go. All right. Now I've already done some work on this. Not much. It is to scale, more or less. Like I said, it's not exact. So let me select everything so y'all can see. Okay, X is at 33 meters, Z is at 37. That's about accurate for this thing. I did scale it up a little bit. I got it close to its actual dimensions, and then I scaled it up because Starfield, I used a door. There's a door right here on this model. So I used an actual Starfield door, fit it in this square. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's incredibly close. So that is about the scale of a Starfield door, and that's kind of how I decided to scale this this ship. Okay, there's many different ways you can do that, by the way. Like that's, yeah. So what do we need to do now? Now that we have our model in here, it's scaled right. You know, we're good. We're happy with it. Well, we want to come over here. First off, we want this to go away. So just you can grab it and drag it, and that goes away. See? We want to go here. Yes. Go here, this little drop down. And then the very first thing that I almost always look at is the face orientation. So we're going to tick that. And this turned blue. That's good. We want this to turn blue. If there's anything that we see that turns orange, that means that what you see will be on the inside. Okay? And we have an issue. And I see it. And that's with this model right here, these two panels. And let me go ahead and show y'all something else real quick. These models, you can isolate them. So if we come over here and we hit this little eyeball and make it close, there. Now we have this one object isolated. And as you can see, this is all blue, that's blue, this is blue, but we have two pieces right here that are not. They are red, and that is not good, because that means that the windows are going to be inside of the cockpit, and right now we're only concerned with the outside. We'll worry about the inside later. Right now, it's just the outside that we're worried about, okay? So, how do we fix that? It's very simple. So I like to isolate my objects and my items. We can click on our item, either clicking in the view window or clicking over here in our actual list. This is model 8. And then we go up here, and right now we're in object mode. If we click this little drop down will come down, go into edit mode. And see how all these, oh, that didn't help. Okay. See how all these lines showed up when we did that? Each one of these triangles is known as a face. You want your faces, whatever area that is blue, that's what you'll see. Again, okay? So over here on these, those are blue on the inside. So it's not going to work right when you look at it on the outside in game. Another issue that we have right now is that I'm very limited. How do you get to all this? Right? Because, yeah, I can access that from here, but it's a lot easier to simply hit Shift and the tilde key. That's the key right underneath Escape next to the 1 on your keyboard. And now I can freely move my camera around and use W, A, S, and D and move around. And I can hit the Shift key to speed up. See? And I use my mouse to look around and all that kind of stuff. Ta-da! And now we have zoomed in. Do keep in mind there is something with this. I didn't just do it because it's not a problem until you do it later. And you can go back to the center by hitting, I think it's Shift and C. Yeah, that recenters it back to your origin point and everything, the camera. What you're going to want to do before you do all that, the free cam, is zoom all the way in. I mean, as much as you can by using your mouse wheel. And then hit Shift and the tilde key. And then zoom out. Do not use the mouse wheel anymore. Because in free cam, I don't know why when you've done it for a little while, it likes to not stay put, and it'll zoom in more when you click out of it. And the way you click out, you go in here, and now I'm in free cam right by hitting Shift and tilde, left click, and now I'm out. So we need to select all these faces here. Easiest way, you hit C, as in cat, on your keyboard, and this little circle will pop up. And you can use your mouse wheel to make it bigger or smaller. And then you just left click and hold, and see how this is all turning orange? That's all selected now. And then we just right click, and now we're out. We're going to hit Shift and tilde again so that we can move our camera around, get a better angle on this. Hit C again, and voila. See? Now we've got it selected. Now we can hit Alt and in, as in no, on our keyboard. And right there we have flip. Simple. See? And then you just left click, and now that's all deselected. That's exactly what we want. Okay. So now we fixed that one small error. That's very good. And so now we're going to turn everything back on. And we're going to see where we're at. Okay. We're going to go back into object mode real quick and just kind of look and make sure everything, and we're going to also recenter. There we go. And just make sure everything looks good, and it does. I've already looked at this so I can tell if it looks good or not. And we are going to go ahead and save. Now normally when you save, it'll ask you to make a project. I've already got one right here because I started working on this because it was a little bit more complicated on the inside than I thought it would be. And for this, I didn't want this to be a super long, 15-part thing just for Blender. So I wanted to get the hard part out of the way, and I did. But I left some in here that's a little bit easier for y'all to understand. with any NIF that you're going to export from Blender. This is only from Blender. If you export this, you do it a different way, because there are different ways to make NIFs. If you export this from Blender, each one of your pieces here, this Model 0, Model 1, Model 2, all the way down to 12, each one of these individually can only have 60,000 vertices. You might be wondering, what's a vertice? Well, it is a thing. It is part of the mesh. It defines different lines, curves, edges, all that kind of stuff. And what we can do is we can go, we can go back to our little option menu right here, where we did the face orientation, and we can click on statistics. And then over here, now we can see what we have. And this is total. This has 341,000 vertices, but we have everything showing. If we hide all of our pieces, except for one, notice our vertice count went down to 62. That's a lot more manageable. Now, what we have here is an item that needs to be split up, because it's got 62,000 vertices, and like I just told y'all, it can only have 60 max. So this has too many. Something else to keep in mind, over here we have like a toolbar sort of thing going. You've got your select box, cursor, move, which is what I just had. See, I can move stuff around, and just hit Control Z if it's like, oh, I didn't want to do that. Anyways, you can also freely move it, I believe. Yeah. Would not recommend that. I like the arrows. But anyways, we're going to just stay in the select box here. And then with this item, we're going to go into edit mode. And that looks funny. Now, in edit mode, there's a few things we need to keep in mind. I forgot to mention this, so I do apologize. Up here, these are your different modes. You've got, I believe this is, this is vertex mode. This lets you select the actual vertices themselves. Then you've got edge, which lets you actually select all the little lines and whatnot. So let me see if I can. We'll use this little piece as an example. So in vertex mode, I can select like all the corners. In edge select, I can select all these little lines. These are known as edges. Okay, and I can select multiple. I'm just left clicking to select these. I can select multiple by hitting and holding shift. That's how you select a lot of things in Blender, is just hold shift and then you just click. See, selecting all of these, and as you select like a whole thing, sometimes it'll actually select the face as well, like it did here. But anyways, you've got vertex select, and I can, again, same thing, shift and left click to select multiple. And then we've got face selection, and we can select all of the faces. Now, right now, we're gonna zoom back out here. Right now, again, Shift C, that's how you recenter. What we're going to do, because we want to select all of this, but we don't want to miss anything, because you can. Okay, and try to go in and select things with the circle select and all that I showed y'all by hitting C, the little, this tool here. Like, I can do that, sure, but it'd be a lot better if I do this. Let me... Up here you can do like a frontal view or top view or anything. We're going to look at the top. There we go. And then we're in edit mode over here. This gets really weird. You can do a viewport shading, which is standard. That's what we're looking at right now. You've got a wire mesh that you can do, and then an option to look at like textures. Okay, and you can still edit everything no matter what you have on here. But we're going to do the wireframe, because doing that will allow me to select all this stuff by simply going to the center. I don't know if I want that. I don't think I want that piece, so we're not going to get that piece. There we go. And we're just going to go right down the center, and we're going to select all of that. And I just clicked and drug. Don't got to hit shift or anything. It's just a box select. There we go. We got everything. And I can check and see. Yeah, everything is selected here. See? That's what we want. Now, I can right click inside of here, inside anywhere in the viewport, and I can do separate by selection. Now you can, there is a hotkey for it, but I don't do that. That's not how I like to work. But we do that, and see, now we have model 0, and we have model 0.001. This is our new model that we just created. So we're going to go back into object mode, and we're going to turn on the solid view again. And we're just going to make sure that it did separate correctly. So model 1 has 27 vertices, the new one that we just made, and then model 0 has 35. So we're good now. See how we did that? That's the biggest part of doing this with a pre-made model, is looking at your different pieces and saying, okay, what do I need to split and where? And it doesn't really matter what these are called right now. We'll get these situated later, because you can rename stuff. Okay, so model 1 has 1,000. We don't got to worry about it. Good. Model 2, that has 64. That's not good. So we are going to select model 2. I'm going to go back into edit mode. Turn on our wire mesh. We're going to look at the top, and then we're going to do the same thing. We'll use about right here. This looks about centered. And do that. Right click. We're going to separate by selection. Okay, now we have another model made. Go back into object mode, go back to our solid view, and then we're going to turn off model 2. 24,000 vertices, good, and 40,000 vertices. Good. You'll see how I'm doing that? I hope so. Model 3 has 17, so we're not going to mess with that. Model 4 has 64. So once again, select, go to edit, wireframe, and we're just going to split this right down the center, because why not? Right click, separate by selection, back into object mode, back into solid view, and we're going to check. That's got 33 now, and this one has 31. Good. And this isn't going to mess anything up, by the way. Like, this is not going to break your model or anything like that. As long as you're careful with it, you don't delete anything you're not supposed to, it won't ruin the model. Okay, so we're going to move on to model 5. That one's got 58. That's close, but we're good. We don't got to mess with it. It's got 58,000 vertices. Model 6, I don't even know what that is. What is model 6? Oh, yeah. Okay, I see what that is. It's a little thing. I'll have to figure out what that actually is supposed to be. But we're totally fine. That's 74. We could probably join that to a different piece if we really wanted to. Model 7 has 45,000, so we're good there. And see how that's orange? You're not going to see that, but that's on the outside of the ship. It's up against the main hull of the ship. So, just pointing that out. Model 8, which we've already looked at, that's the glass pieces that we actually had to mess with a little bit already. That's got 328 vertices, so we're good. Model 9, this is the main body of the ship. It surprisingly only has 13,000 vertices. That's very odd. You'd think something this big would have more, but it doesn't. That's actually a really good thing for Starfield. Model 10, I know what this is. This goes on the very back of the ship. And then Model 11 has 10,000. This is all the really cool like plating and whatnot. We will be splitting this up a little bit because I want to, not because we have to. I'll show you all that in a minute. And then Model 12, that's just the gun. So, we should be good to go now. So, everything should be set up and ready now. So we're going to save this again. Save often, by the way, and like perhaps keep a backup. I would actually highly recommend you keep a backup of sorts, like back up your Blender files somewhere. So that way if you make a mistake, you have something to fall back on. That's fairly important. Oh, you know what I just realized? I might need to look into that. That's weird. This thing doesn't have a satellite dish. I thought the original one did. Huh. I just now noticed that. I've been working on this thing like all day, and I just realized that it does not have that. That's, huh. Okay. Well, that's fine. Anyways, we should be good to go. You can leave these named as they are if you want. That's entirely up to you. But what we're going to do now... yeah. We're going to start breaking this up because what I'm going to do with this ship, I'm going to give it vanilla materials so that it can be colorable. So I want people to be able to color this spaceship. So I'm not going to be doing custom materials on the outside. The inside will get custom materials, but not the outside. Okay? So what we're going to do is I want just the plates, I think. So we're going to hide everything else. Okay, there we go. Yeah, this is what I want to mess with. So, what we're going to do, because I already kind of know what I want to do with this, we're going to go into edit mode, and I'm going to get my handy dandy moving thing, the free cam. That's what I was trying to say. I'm going to get my handy dandy free cam, and we're going to select we're going to select these. I know we're going to do these, so we're going to start with this. So we're going to hit C and then select and right click, select again, right click, and we're constantly moving around the free cam, notice, so that we can get at better angles. You do need to be careful when you're doing the selection because it will select whatever it runs over. So if it runs over stuff over here, it'll select that. Okay, and we don't want that to be selected. We only want this stuff. So again, you just hit C, left click, and then I can drag and select all this stuff. And then right click will make that disappear. We can go back into FreeCam. And now I can select this object because I want both of these. I'm going to make a new object, and there's a reason for it. That reason is when we go into the material portion and actually like assign a material to this thing, the way that you're able to color stuff is because it's all different pieces in the game. Now granted, you do have to use a vanilla matte from my understanding to get something to be colorable. I mean, at least that's what I do. I don't know how to make a custom material that is also colorable. So yeah, keep that in mind on whatever it is that you're working on. Notice this gets a little bit tedious, but it's really not too bad. It's like once you get the hang of it, it's very easy, it's very quick, especially with a ship of this size. Like I'm gonna have this thing, the model itself, done in maybe a couple hours. The exterior. I did have, like I said, I did have to do a little bit more work than normal because of the way this was built. But you know, it happens sometimes. Sometimes you don't have a lot of options. Like this is one of the only models of this ship that exist on the entirety of the internet. So I'm very limited on the options that I had for this build. And I do not have the skill set to make this. If I tried, it'd be too blocky. And it just would not look good. I know it wouldn't. I'm confident on the interiors because that's basic stuff, but I'm not confident in really detailed work. Which is why I'm glad other people have made models and they share it and they're totally fine with other people taking them and sharing them and whatnot. Oh, do be aware, I personally don't make any money from modding. So I don't take tips, I don't do commissions, I don't do any of that. Keep that in mind because that can sometimes come back to bite you, especially if you're using someone else's assets. Even if they're like, yeah, no, it's cool, that might only be they're cool with it as long as you don't commercialize it. Because at the end of the day, it is their work. Yeah, you might have gone in and modified it like I'm doing right now, but it can become an issue. So do keep that in mind, right? You do not want to get in trouble with people. So make sure that you're allowed to use the items and make sure you have whatever permissions you need. And of course, if you make it, right, if you get good enough and you can just make whatever, one, what are you doing here? Secondly, then you don't got to worry about it at all because it's your model. You can do whatever you want with it. Also keep in mind, oh wow, I don't know if I mentioned this, everything that I'm going to show you is for a static item, meaning it's not going to have any animation to it or anything like that. Okay, I'm not totally sure how animation works yet. I'm kind of looking into it a little bit, but oh, I just selected that. I didn't want to select. See what I mean? So Control C, my bad. I didn't want to select that. Yeah, just fair warning. Please don't get yourselves in trouble. And don't blame me either if you get in trouble and you do something you're not supposed to, or you use something you're not supposed to. That's on you. I might look into getting some music going next time. I don't know yet. I just kind of want to get this done real quick because we're getting close to 45 minutes, so I kind of just want to get this stuff separated real quick just so y'all can see like how it's done. Plus, I gotta go find some textures and whatnot for this thing because I don't have. I'll explain. That'll be explained later. Don't worry about that just yet. Just worry about, if you're doing this, worry about your model. Don't worry about like textures and all that just yet. I will explain that, but it'll come later when we get to it. Right now, we're literally just focused on the 3D modeling end of things right now. And yeah, they're like, this looks tedious, and it kind of is, but it's really easy. Yeah, you can kind of see, you see how my camera's shifting when I go from my free cam into, watch. I'm going to go out, and it zoomed me in. That's what I was talking about. Because I did not take my own advice and zoom in. Well, if you're doing really, really detailed work, which I'm not right now, but I have in the past, it gets really annoying. And the only way that I found to fix it, I'm going to fix it right now because it is bugging me, is to zoom in all the way with your mouse wheel and then zoom back to wherever it was that you were at using your free cam. Okay, where was I at? Is that it? I think so. Okay, cool. So that's it for those panels. And oh, I messed up. I didn't want to get these. Okay, if you get something you're not supposed to, very simple. Shift and click. See? Just unselected that. We don't want that one either. Okay. Now, we can start getting all of this stuff. Now, like I said, as long as you know the keys, like, it's really simple. Like, I was surprised with how simple it actually is to do this with Blender. I mean, yeah, it's something that if I can figure it out, like, anyone can figure it out. I'm not, you know, a computer whiz by any means. By the way, for anyone who's watched this far, one, I appreciate it. Secondly, if there is anything that, anything y'all have questions on or whatever, feel free to join the Discord. I'm more than happy to, like, show y'all, you know, and help where I can. I am by no means an expert on Blender or 3D modeling. I'm very much an amateur, but I can do some stuff. And people apparently seem to really appreciate what I do, you know, and we kind of need, I'll just be honest, we could use some more modders in Starfield. Starfield. Because there's not a whole lot anymore. There was when it first came out, and then now it's kind of sad. And it's sad because this is also the first game I have ever like really heavily modded. I've never modded before. And I've only been doing this for like however long Starfield's been out. That's about how long I've been doing it. 'Cause I started modding Starfield pretty early on. I did do a little bit with Xedit. That's right. I don't know how to do Xedit. Don't ask me about that, please. I don't know. I can do values, and that's it. I can like modify the values of stuff, but it's kind of a moot point because you can do that in Creation Kit as well. Come on, there we go. Should just be the back ends of this that I need. Okay. There we go. Alright, so we have that. And because I am paranoid, I'm going to save. When you save, it will save your selection. Like if I have all this selected, I don't have to reselect this if I save. If I don't save though, yeah, that's on you at that point if you don't. If you decide, I don't want to save, well, there's not much I can do then. I can't help you because you didn't select stuff like you were probably supposed to. Okay. So now, down here, I know for a fact that I'm going to want this. Don't know if I'm going to want anything else down here because it's the bottom, but I might. I don't know yet. I got to think about it. Someone just said something. Hang on. I'm trying to. Is there... Oh. Oh, cool. Huh. I apologize. Yeah, I see it there. I do. Yeah, I see you there, Alex. I'm sorry. I had a thing in the way. My bad. I'm used to seeing it on the top, not the bottom. Ugh, my bad. So hello, it's good to see you. Okay, what am I doing? Okay, right. I need to select all this stuff. Oh. Yeah, I'm not worried about all the orange. I'm not worried about that right now. This should all be where it's supposed to be, I think. Appreciate it though. It should be set up. I gotta separate these pieces. Because I'm gonna make them a different color. There we go. Yeah, I don't know when you popped in, Alex, but we're should hopefully be almost done with this stream. We're kind of at a, once I'm done selecting all this, we'll be at a decent stopping point. Oh yeah, no. This is all set up. This was actually a really nice model. Everything was more or less fixed and ready to go. There was like literally there was two problems with it. One was there was I didn't want to do that. I don't want to select that. There we go. There was a normal. A facing issue with the faces on part of the glass on the cockpit, and that got fixed. Like that was like the very first thing that I showed was how to do that, because yeah, it's an issue. But now we're at the part where we break stuff up into their different respective pieces. Okay. Is that everything? Is that all the sides too? Maybe? No. Of course not. There we go. I think that's everything. Okay. Now we get the bottom. I have not. I don't know. What does Control L do? I don't know what that does. I mean, I've gotten really proficient with doing it this way. So like this way, because the only other way I know I've had to do it is shift and click, and like that takes forever. I don't want to do that. Said Control L. Hang on, before I do that, let me save. I don't want to mess my work up. Control L. I don't know. What is that supposed to do? Yeah, I don't see what that's supposed to do. I don't know if it worked or not. Okay. Oh, for like one item, or like one mesh piece, I guess. I don't know if that makes sense. Okay, let me finish this up because I'm almost done with these as is. There we go. Is that it? Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Okay. Okay, now let's try this. Click, and they said Control L. Oh, well, that's nice. There you go, guys. Someone's teaching me stuff as we're going. Whoop. Not bad. Go. Huh. So apparently, what I just learned is you can select one like triangle and then hit Control and then L as in large on your keyboard, and it'll just kind of select everything that's linked to it, I guess, which is fantastic. Yeah, that's awesome. It makes my life a whole lot easier. Oh yeah, this is so much better. Do keep in mind that while this is nice, it doesn't it's not going to necessarily work with like some detailed work. Like for example, if you're new and you like have no idea what you're doing with Blender and whatnot, like I was doing that, what I'm doing right now, this wouldn't work with like the Courier. Just as an example, because the Courier was one whole piece. That whole ship was just like one thing. So keep that in mind if you're like, oh, I didn't mean to do that. There we go. It may or may not work. But this one it works because these are all their own individual pieces and they're physically broken up, as you can see. And Alex, I know you know, but like this is tutorial for it, because there's like no tutorials online for this stuff. And it's kind of ridiculous, if I'm being honest. Like, it's almost like everything's gated behind all the other modders, and you gotta actually find someone to teach you. And I'm like, we have this thing called the internet, let's use it. I will say there are tutorials for Blender, but there's really not, as far as I've seen, there were not tutorials for, like for, well, Jerry Amos Works did a lot for the creation kit. I will say he did do that. But there wasn't really a whole lot for textures and all the other stuff. Okay, now let's see. I've got all that. I've got this. Do I want anything else? I don't know. Maybe? let's go ahead and separate that out. Let me see what that looks like with everything. Okay, I don't need literally everything, but let's see. I might want that. Yeah, I think that'd probably look pretty cool. Let's do that. Yeah, we'll get that. Why not? Okay, so what I'm doing, just so y'all see, these plates here, these metal plating thingies are going to end up being a different color from the other metal plates, so that we get, like, the base ship is one color, the metal plates are one color, and then the other metal plates are another color, so that we can have a real nice, y'all can like mix and match and do whatever it is that y'all want to do. And that's why we're separating all these pieces out. So we're going to go back into edit mode again, because I am going to get all of this. We're going to get all these back panels, because I think it'd be cool if they were the same color as these. And this will help me, because I can show y'all how to like join stuff in Blender, because that's another thing that you can do. You can separate stuff and then join it to a different piece if you want to, or you need to for whatever reason. That's a thing that you can do. Whoop, I did not mean to turn on caps lock. Don't do that. Go. It's just these few over here. Okay. Oh, I missed two. Very important that you make sure you actually get all the faces as well. Like, don't be meticulous, right? Don't think you're gonna do this in like 5 minutes. That's not gonna happen. Be meticulous with how you do this, because it'll look messed up if you do it wrong, and it just won't work. Oh yeah, I know about the cursor thing. I am fully aware of the cursor select. I've done that before. You know what? Actually, that might... Can I do that here? I bet you I can. Gonna be a little bit tricky over there, but I bet you I can. I'm gonna try it. Haha, I can. There we go. There we go. And we just got to get that. Yeah, so as y'all can see, like, there's so many different ways to select objects in Blender. And I get kind of, I'll be honest, I kind of get tunnel vision. I'm pretty bad. Separate by selection. There we go. Object. Okay. So now, notice we have 3 Model 11s. You've got the original, and then the one down here, the 2 top pieces and the 2 front pieces there. Or the top, bottom, and the 2 front pieces, excuse me. And then we have this back piece that is separate from the other 2. Well, if I want, I can select both of these because I want this and then these 2 other pieces. I want all that to be one color when we go to apply the materials. So what I can do, and this has to be done in object mode, don't do this in edit mode. You can select 2 different pieces in your list over here, and then you can right click and join. See? Now, if I turn off Model 11, see? That is all one piece now. So that when I apply the material to it, this all is going to be one color. Now, do I like that? I think I'm fairly happy with it. I don't know if it's going to stay this way. I mean, I might maybe do some other stuff, but I don't know. Oh yeah, no, I'm aware of that, Alex. I know about this. We did that earlier too. This lovely tool here. Yeah, I know. All right. So I think I'm pretty happy with where it's at right now. I think. It's definitely not done yet. There's still more work to be done. But for now, what we're going to do is we're going to recenter ourselves there. And we're going to save. And I think that's going to be it for this stream. Yeah, oof, my bad. We went over an hour. I didn't want to do that. I apologize. Doing that, selecting all that stuff took a little bit longer than I was planning. So I might work on this a little bit more off stream. I mean, maybe. I don't know yet. It depends. I kind of want to keep it on stream so y'all can see what I'm doing. Oh, right. One more thing before we go. This is very, very important. So over here, you see how you've got 0, 0, 0, and then 90, 0, negative 90, and then 0.16. I don't know why. I don't understand like how all this works, but you have to like redo all the transforms. So you hit, I think it's Control and A. Yeah. Control and A as in all. And then you click on all transforms right here. And then that will reset all of your stuff here on the side. And that like I don't know what it does. It resets something so that this is the proper scale and all that stuff. Because it looks proper in Blender. If you don't do that and you export that as is without doing the all transforms thing, then it'll look messed up in the creation kit and in game. Okay, so you do need to keep that in mind. One more thing as well is your point of origin. You can see this little like yellow orange dot thingy right here at the cursor. That's where the origin is right now. Now I can right click and set origin. I can do geometry to origin. See, that messes everything up. We don't want to do that. Control Z fixes it. But I can set the origin to the 3D cursor. So like, let's say I've got everything selected. So let's say I want my origin to be way down here for some reason. I can do that. Right click, set origin to 3D cursor, which that's this thing right here. And ta-da, that's where the origin is. Now, I don't want to do that. I like the origin where it's at. That's actually a really good thing. You typically want your origin in the center of your object. Okay, so make sure you do that, because that's something else that's important. But with that being said, thank you all for watching. If anyone watches after the stream and there's something that you have a question on or whatever, it's not working, join the Discord. I can help you. There's a few other people who know how to do this who might be able to help you as well. Yeah, just it's when we have time though. So thank y'all for y'all's time. I appreciate it. I'll see y'all